can see these have a great sound. This one doesn't have a muffler on it right now, but. Excuse me, sorry! Sorry!
Hi, I'm Dennis Gage, and welcome to My Classic Car. Well, I'm back out in California with Jay Leno. Jay, how you doing, man?
Good to see you. You know, I put something together here for you. I want to see if you can figure out what these two cars have in common.
Let's see, this one's orange and that one's green, so that's not
true.
it. That's not it.
It's a bit tenuous, but...
Four wheels, that's not it either?
No, no. Both have unorthodox engine positions for their period. The Lamborghini Miura, of course, with the first transverse V12 in the back, and the Tatra V8, air-cooled, twin overhead cam, magnesium engine hanging out the back as well.
Wow.
These are both rear-engine cars, although some might argue that's more a mid-engine car, but I think it's safe to say it's a rear-engine car.
Let's start with the Tatra, because these are fascinating cars.
They're fascinating cars.
Czechoslovakian, back when there was a Czechoslovakia, right?
The guy named Hans Ludwinka, he was an Austrian engineer. He was a contemporary of Ferdinand Porsche. He and Ferdinand Porsche developed the swing axle. And he went to Czechoslovakia, to the other side of the Tatra Mountains, hence the name. And the interesting thing about cars from this period, you know, now everybody has the internet, and you have email, and you have all this kind of stuff, but people on different continents really didn't know what people were developing 2,000 miles away on the other side of those mountains. So this car is about as unorthodox as anything American as you could get. I mean, it's a V8 hanging way back over the rear wheels. It's aerodynamic. I think it's safe to say it's one of the first aerodynamic cars. This thing at 60 miles an hour, take your foot off the gas, you just feel like you're cutting through the wind. So wind noise is kept to a minimum.
Well, 3 headlights.
Yeah.
And even though it's rear engine, you've got some louvers up here. Well,
yeah, I guess that's just to relieve pressure, I suppose. You don't have anything in here other than your gas tank, so that could be venting as well. But the interesting thing is you have a firewall, then you have your luggage compartment, then another firewall, then the engine way back here. Very light steering because all your weight is in the back.
Now these things also had kind of they had some World War II history.
Yeah, when the Nazis invaded Czechoslovakia, these were commandeered by a lot of the officers. I think 7 of them got killed the first week, so Hitler said, that's it. So these
played a role in winning the war.
Played the role of killing almost more Nazi officers than some of our allies. But that reputation is sort of not well deserved.
And is that really just, again, because they drove so differently and yet were pretty fast?
They are deceptively fast. I mean, compared to modern cars, no. This car was guaranteed to get 20 miles per gallon at 60 miles an hour.
Wow.
Which was pretty amazing back in the day for a 3-liter V8.
And it looks comfortable, too. I mean, it's really,
extremely
really
comfortable car,
looking.
very cushy. This car is 1938. I believe that's the original interior. And it's extremely comfortable to drive. As I said, very light front end. That's the oil cooler right there. Those lines run all the way to the back.
And the interesting stuff is really in the back.
The interesting stuff is in the back, and we'll take a look at that, too, in a second. You always want to fasten these.
Yeah, I hear it can be a problem with you.
I was going down the road about 70, and bang, the hood flew off. But let's take a look at the interesting part.
Wow. I mean, what an interesting hood prop, too.
Yeah, that's all magnesium.
Man.
Twin cam.
Air-cooled.
Air-cooled. I've got a Weber carburetor on it. I've got the original carburetor, just the Weber works a little nicer.
I like the manifold there. I mean, you got a little bit of a bundle of snakes
and you have,
action there.
Much like a early Volkswagen or Porsche rather, you have twin fans that blow air up through the cylinders. And depending on winter or summer, you can slide these vents and open them to let more air in.
That's incredibly cool.
It's very easy to work on because this whole engine drops out and the whole thing slides out, and you can work on the motor and then slide it back in again.
But you can see all the cooling fins too, and this is all magnesium.
All magnesium. This is not the cylinder heads, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But just everything else. So it's a wonderful car to drive, and of course, being air cooled, it can sit for months and months because there's no corrosion or water.
And your rear window looks actually out through.
Yeah, the rear window, you look through there. That's not the best rear window. So you want to have...
That's probably, rear visibility is bad. That's probably the other thing it shares with the Lamborghini.
Yeah. That's the other thing. It's very good.
I found it.
Very good. That's the other thing it shares.
And this runs and drives, and we can take it out?
We will take it out.
Well, let's take this out, because I've always wanted to be in one of these. Boom.
There you go.
Yeah, this is a nice car. A lot of headroom, very comfortable car.
Oh, yeah, and if you need more headroom,
You got a ton of headroom up there.
no, it doesn't feel terribly fast, but it does feel modern. And you can drive it as a regular car. It's not one of those, excuse me, sorry, sorry!
And did they make, I mean, a lot of these, or were they a low production car even
Well,
in the
they
day?
built quite a few. Not many remain. Don't forget, it was Europe. Cars were commandeered, blown up. There aren't a whole lot of cars from that period left. But the aerodynamics of this car, I mean, you get off the gas, and look, we're coasting right next to him, and he's on the gas. You know, most cars in this period have a big flat front. So
Yeah.
you get off the gas and you feel that lack of
feels slippery.
aerodynamics. You
It
know,
feels-
yeah,
this thing
it's
feels
very
really slippery.
Yeah. Keeping up with traffic is not a problem.
No,
You know?
it runs like a regular car.
Yeah, yeah. I see a lesser car broken down.
A Miura Range Rover.
We'll pull over here and let Dennis drive.
My turn.
Give Dennis a shot, see how he does.
Very smooth.
That's smooth.
This is like a regular car.
Yeah.
1938.
Yeah. Everybody thinks that Tucker was so revolutionary, but this was a V8 in the back. This is really everything that Tucker was, a headlight in the middle, the
Yeah.
whole deal. But see, here in America, we didn't look at the Europeans, they didn't look at us, so we thought we invented it 10 years later when Tucker came out.
Now, this does look a lot like an airflow.
Yeah, it
Is
does.
there a reason for that?
I mean, the teardrop shape is the perfect aerodynamic shape, so they're all variations of that. You can put it in fourth if you want.
Now look how much that fin actually does it back.
At high speed on the freeway, it does. Work. And when there are crosswinds, you feel it.
Oh, really?
You find yourself cramping a little bit.
Boy, this would be a nice car to go out to dinner in even.
Oh, yeah? You actually have dinner in it, actually.
It's big enough. Okay, Tatra's very cool.
Right.
That is a nice running, nice riding car.
Right.
Here's our other one with the kind of innovative engine placement.
Right. This has a transverse V12 right behind the driver.
I didn't realize it was the first production mid-engine car.
I mean, there were a couple other mid-engine cars. Ferrari had one, the Ford GT, but this is the one that really captured the imagination of everybody. A lot of people call this the first supercar. I wouldn't go that far. I'd probably go with the 55 Gullwing as the first supercar. But for the sake of excitement and argument and all that, they kind of think it really started with these.
So what year is this?
This is a 1969. This is a Miura S.
So was this a steel car, or was it?
The doors are aluminum, there's steel in it. What really happened was Lamborghini made this fantastic chassis, and people just went crazy at the auto show. And then Marcello Gandini, he designed the body for this. In fact, he's been to the garage. In fact, if you look on the wall over here, come over here, you guys, I'll show you a little history of Lamborghini. Now there's Valentino Balboni, he's the famous test driver for Lamborghini. There's Marcello Gandini, he's been here at the garage, he designed the car. That's Walter de Silva, he designed the new modern Miura, which never went into production. That's my old copy of Road and Track from when I was a kid and Car and Driver from 1965, is that 65?
It is 67.
67, you know, so
So you've been into these for a while.
Yeah, I've been into them long before I ever thought I could afford one.
And the body style is
The body
just
style,
so
the packaging, the style.
different.
But let's take a look under the hood and you'll look at the packaging. You'll see why you could never build a car like this today, because there is no crash protection. There's no crumple zone. You are the crumple zone. You become the crumple. There's your V12 right there.
Actually a big engine.
It's a 4-liter motor. It's not a big engine by American standards, but 4 liters was big by European standards. 2 valve per cylinder. 375 horsepower.
What's it weigh?
It's a pretty light car. It's under 3,000 pounds. The engine oil and the transmission oil is shared. They're the same. So consequently, your oil gets chewed up fairly quickly. So you want to change your oil fairly regularly.
They open up the front too, right?
Yeah, the front
Very
opens up
funky.
as well. And your battery and everything else is under here.
Yeah, and when fully opened up, this car just looks totally bizarre.
Yeah, you know, it's why I consider the 60s the last pure design era. Because after 1966, and certainly after 71 or 72, you had safety bumpers, you had to have headlight height requirements. This is when you could build whatever you wanted.
Whatever looked really, really
Right.
good.
This car has absolutely no crash protection. There's no bumpers. There's no nothing. But it's just pure design.
Yeah.
And that's why I think many people consider it one of the most beautiful cars of all time, because its only purpose is to look stunning. It's not safe. It's not whatever. But this is the old school way of building cars. It's just the way they did it. And this car was about $22,000 in 1969, which was equal to a Rolls Royce, or maybe a little bit more in some cases.
So it was a pricey machine.
Yeah, they were expensive.
And they're expensive to maintain and work on too.
Yeah, don't forget a Corvette was about $4,000, $4,500.
Oh, so
This
it's
was
like
five times the price.
Five Corvettes.
Yeah, exactly. But well worth it. And don't forget, when Ferrari was still twin cam, 2-valve, this is a 4-cammer. You know, these are fascinating motors on these things. It's complicated, but when you compare it to really modern cars, oh my God, it doesn't seem that complicated at all. Because there's not a lot of stuff you have to take off.
It looks like, still looks like an engine.
Yeah, they're really wonderful handmade Italian cars. And again, wonderful handmade Italian electrics. That's pretty stock. That's the way it came. If you did that in a modern car, I mean, my God, you wouldn't get out the door. But that's just the way they did it, because who cares about the light?
Yeah,
Who cares about the brake light? You go so fast.
Just to go so fast, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that was the idea behind it. Knock off wheels, which are illegal now. You know, all this stuff.
In a very, again, just a really Italian-looking interior. I mean,
very Italian-looking interior. You know,
a 4-speed, 5-speed?
5-speed
Five-speed
transmission. Yeah, 5-speed. Yeah.
I like the grab bar there on the other side. Is
Yeah,
that the,
yeah, just all these little touches.
Get in, sit down, shut up, hold on type.
Yeah, let's take it for a ride.
I like your thinking. Let's do it. This is going to be interesting. What a sound!
Oh yeah, it's a great sound. I just seen a lot of theatrics involved with these. Great sounds, and I mean, impressive as this car is now, imagine back in the 60s when you still had cars that were from the 40s. This thing is only 42 inches high, so going down the road, it just looks...
60s, nothing looked like this.
No, cars were much higher off the ground. And
I mean, just everything about this car
I think it's a much prettier car than the Countach.
Yeah, that's such an angular car.
Yeah.
This has got some flowing
I always
lines.
tell people, you want to pick up girls, take the Miura. If you're trying to pick up 12-year-old boys, take the Countach. You know, because they're the ones that go crazy.
To each their own, you know?
Not me. Maybe your own, Dennis. Not me. There are a lot of cars that are faster, but I don't think there are many that are more dramatic.
That's a good term for this. It's pretty instantaneous. Yeah, like that. Woo! Yeah! My God!
Oh, they go good.
Yeah! I'd say. So these never raced, except
No.
in amateur.
No, they never race. It's not a race car.
Just a sports car. And you really, I mean, you're right. I mean, with the regulations now, you really couldn't do this car now.
You can't even build the Ford GT anymore. Go up here and you drive.
Okay.
Very light steering.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Like the Tatra, all the weight's in the back.
Yeah. Man, you can have too much fun in this car.
Oh yeah, it's great.
And you use this as a daily driver for a while?
Well, I did for a long time.
Wow.
I mean, I use it to go to work and stuff now. I mean, it's not a show car. As you can see, it's soda cans under the seat and all that, you know.
McDonald's wrappers.
Yeah, it's true. Watch out, don't scare the horses.
Really? This thing can scare people, let alone horses. So until our next meeting, remember, honor the timeless classics. I'm Dennis Gage. Happy motoring.